So the title, as you saw, it was Taking the Leap to Success. And it's amazing how everything that has been said is just like fire under all of us to say, you know what, it's time to elevate yourselves and go further. So because I'm in the body of Christ, I am so excited to say we can start with a prayer so that, you know, this time that we have is anointed and God can hopefully light your inner light and you can go out there and start your own business. So we're talking about women in business taking the leap to success. The first slide that I had a PowerPoint. It says, if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. If you believe in yourself, anything is possible. How many of you want to be successful? How many of you already have businesses of their own that they already started? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we already have 7 that have started their businesses, and everyone else is on that start where we are starting to get the business. Let me start off by just telling you how this works. There's a certain way that successful people think and do things. There's a certain way that unsuccessful people think and do things. There's a certain way that successful people structure their lives and also their dreams. We all have dreams. You heard the pastor saying we all have dreams. We all were created for something. I actually have a poster here. It says everyone is gifted with a passion and purpose. But guess what? Some people just never take the time to find them. So I want to congratulate all of you for just having that time to say, you know what, there's something in me that is greater. I know I'm supposed to do better and bigger. I know I'm supposed to do something bigger. That's what makes you sit right here today to try and do this. So for successful people, let me tell you one of the things that they do. They have a sense of gratitude. They are thankful of where they are. They are thankful of what they are doing right now and appreciate that there is something in what they are doing now that will lead them and guide them to where they're going. There are some talents in what they're doing now that they will use in whatever business that they will do. Because guess what? Your skills, your talents, your values, the way that you want to do, you know, to interact with people, it's the same way that you're doing it now, and all you want to do is elevate that. But you have to be grateful of where you are. And most of you that have read some of my books or heard my story, you know that one of the things that I did was I worked in the nursing home like everyone else. I was a nurse's aide. And at that time, I had come to school to go to school for computer science. But because I believed that computers was hard for me, I went to school, but I did what I was supposed to do, and I was taking care of people in the nursing home with all my heart. All I know is there were people there that were grandparents for somebody's grandparent, and I could just imagine that, you know, it could be my grandparent that is laying there, and I want somebody else that will be helping them to have that compassion, to have that love that they can give them. That way they don't think like, you know what, I'm lost and nobody loves me, because somebody does, even though they're not there. So that's the heart that I serve, that work with. And Lord behold, one of those patients that I was serving asked me one day and said, what are you doing in school? I said, oh, I'm here to do computer science. And that was in the 80s, you know, I've been 85, because I've been here for 30 years. And I said, I'm doing computers. She says, no, that's not your calling. You're not supposed to be doing computers. And I looked at her like, oh, what do you mean? She says, you're a social worker. And ladies, you are from Zimbabwe, so you know what I'm talking about. For me, when I left home in the 80s, social workers, all they did was give pills for family planning. And, you know, you can't have too many children, so they went in there. But then, so I thought, I didn't know that you could get paid to be a social worker, you know, that much money, or even taking care of yourself. So I said, no, I don't want to be a social worker. No. I don't want to do that, because my mind, and what the pastors were saying is, my mind and where I grew up and everything, that small mind says social workers, go next door, family planning, social workers, family planning. That's all I knew. But there's a whole expanded career in social work in the United States. A whole lot of other things that you can do with counseling that is not just family planning. Usimbe wako pataenda pese Stembile wotodzidza usimbe hwako ndikati mai and sometimes nanhasi anoti mukati Stembile pakurima kana pakuita excuse dzacho dzandinoita dzekumhanya ndikabata I didn't want to but vaiti Mike vakanga vakukohwa zviya ndinokutanga unodya chibage icho chombambairaidzicho ndindomhanye hanzi ndirime Muzana wandibanda pakudya ndomera manhenga ndimire muzana wandibanda pakudya ndomera manhenga. But I listened and I said, you know what, she's right. Handizi munhu anoda kurima kumunda. I don't want kunorima kumunda. Rega ndiite chikoro. But guess what? 49 years later today, I find out that plowing and planting that field that we were doing, that I was running away from. I didn't want to be plowing and plowing the field and selling mango. And I didn't want to do that. But guess what? This is my field. These books that you're seeing here, that's my field. Every day I have to sit there and write a chapter, a paragraph. I get to interview someone about something and then I'm like, oh, I learned something. But if I'm sitting in a class and I'm looking around, there's no other Zimbabwean in here. There's no other African American in here. Guess what that means to me? I'm learning something that more people like me need to learn about because they're not sitting in here. My fellow people need to learn it. So I put it in my own words, that is small, and say I've learned this lesson. If you want to know where to go and what I've been doing, those are the things that I do. I attend a class, I learn something, I go, I implement it. If it works, I'm saying, oh, somebody else hasn't been here. What if I put it in a book so that they can also know the knowledge? Because many of you are saying, well, you know what, I want to write a book and I don't know where to start with that book. But you have the start already, the chapter of your book already. You sitting there with an idea that has been planted in you and you've been saying, I need to start a business. I know I can do this and I can do this here. It's going to help someone else if you write a book about how you continue talking about this idea and continuing to attend conference after conference. And guess what? The message seems to come back over and over again, back to you to say, do something about it.
Get GBI, get somebody else at the back of those t-shirts as well. Guess what? That t-shirt now just costs you $3 versus $5.
So that's the reason, thank you so much. That's the reason why I was asking you at the beginning, what is it that you want to do in your business? Because guess what? If you share what it is that you want to business, now we know she's got a company that does business cards and it's called networking. Because then somebody else who's in Zimbabwe or here, the good thing about it is you can do it online. Because when somebody graphic designs your business cards, they email it to you, and then if you're not familiar with computers, which a lot of people say, hey, my computer mwanangu, so I'm like, hey, my computer is, but mukaitiwa email yashoka yauyaka munotopika up phone kukona vanhu vista print ivavo moti ndine email yangu ine makadzi ivavo votokuita I walk through kuti okay ma'am, press this button, okay now hit send, and then they set it up for you. What's your address? There's always help. You pick up a phone and somebody will help you with that process. But the big thing about it is you have to be able to speak about it, to talk about it, because then the core branding that she's talking about, I won't know how to fit you into my product and co-brand with you if I don't know what it is that you want to do. If I don't know kuti imimi pfungwa dzenyu dziri kupi kuti tite mshandira pamwe. And one thing that I said kune another program yatinayo yeMaZimbabwe kunonzi CFI last year, and I'll say it here again, we need directory in my businesses evanhu vese. That way we know who's in Zimbabwe, who's in South Africa, who's in Boston, who's here, and who does what. So I see ndakudzeka kuti zvekuri mandidizvo ndinotiza nezvibadza zviya saka I can give ideas till the yin but kuzozviita zvacho manje. CFI
Doc. Help Christian Fellowship International.
I think my idea is a little complicated.
What did you say about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay, come on.
Alright, let's just fill out the idea. What's the idea? So what happens with that one is it's a challenging. It's not difficult, but it will be a little bit of a challenge for you, which means you might have to consult with an attorney, the business attorneys that do patents. So you just Google up, business attorneys, and you call them up, make a consult So within that consult, have your questions ready already. You know, this is the kind of business that I want to do. This is the product that I want to emulate. You know, I want to do something else different and sell it to a different market. You know, what are the nuances? I mean, how do I get to approach that company? Do you think, you know, it will infringe on that patent that's already there? And you can get those answers within, you know, just like that. Then you take the next step. If you hear that, you know, it's going to be a challenge and you might have to pay them if you go like this year, then maybe it's not one of those, you know, that you want to pursue if it's going to cost you money before you even start the business, right? But I believe that, you know, Macy's and JCPenney and Sears, they wouldn't have been selling dresses and, you know, same clothing companies if it was not, you know, something that's duplicable that they can duplicate, you know? So it's the same concept. You know, you want to make a dress, I mean, you know, the label is going to be different, but then you can have the same design, but put a little logo on yours here, and it's different, you know, because then now yours has got a little logo that's outside, mine, my logo is inside, and I can sell it to JCPenney, yours is being sold at Macy's, so yours is a little bit more expensive because you're in Macy's. Yeah, so consult with the patent, you know, attorney, and they'll be able to tell you that within the consult before you start paying. You compliment others when you're successful. You forgive others when you're successful. And what it does is it gives you that joyful heart. You give credit where it's due. You give credit where it's due. I guess I'm going to have to be the one that says this. I haven't heard anyone that has come to me and said anything that was, you know, demeaning. But I can tell you that many people have told me that people, you know, our own people are saying, my doctorates, I wonder, my doctorates, you know, everybody's a doctor, everybody's a doctor. Do you know how many other communities from other African countries are so proud of their own? We have struggled, we have gone through a lot in order for us to be the doctors that you see today. And guess what? We are not doing it so that we can say we are the doctors. But we are doing it so that people can know that Zimbabwe has got intelligent women that can get the doctorates and they can change the world.
Yes.
So when you see us, when you hear us, when even if people say, you know, this one is doctor, let's clap our hands and say, you know what, next time I'm going to be on that panel of the doctors, if that's in you, because not everybody wants to be one. And it's okay, you don't have to be one. But I would love nothing more than anything for us to be cheered by our own people before we get cheered by the foreigners that are saying, wow, you guys have got so many doctors. And yet our own people, we can even influence our own to say, you know what, education is power. I remember growing up saying, you know, whatever it is that we're going through, if you get educated, that's power. You're going to go somewhere, you're going to make a difference. Vadikani, education is still power. And even now, for you to get that profit, those profits that you need, education is power. And when you value somebody else, kuchivana kwakanaka, because pakuchiva ipapo bvunza, you get those ideas and you go on with them. Some people ask the ideas. I mean, I now do this as a business of coaching people. Counseling you my ideas, guess what? You get paid for sharing those ideas. But don't lose hope and say, oh, Dr. Matlatini is now charging for just giving me an idea. Why would she do that? It's a career that's there. But you come and talk to me, I'm not going to say, you know, I can share that information just because you don't have that money to pay me. But just because you've already discounted yourself, but I'm not going to talk to her, or I'm not going to talk, you miss out on that opportunity of getting that information that you need to be successful. You want others to succeed as well as yourself. Let me just go on the other side, because I would love to give, you know, an opportunity to answer some questions, because I think if I do the teaching with the short time that we have, sometimes I miss, you know, giving people those answers, because I would love to hear where you are stuck. So part of being unsuccessful is coming to a conference like this year, and then you get all excited, like, oh my God, you know, now I know exactly that I need to take the leap and I need to do, you know, something about my life, and you're all excited, and then you get home tomorrow and you put all that excitement on the shelf and you don't act on it. That's going to put you on that unsuccessful side on the other side.